Okay guys, hello and welcome to Watkins Glen. It's the GT4 Falken Tyre Challenge and we're racing the Aston Martin GT4, which is the new car in iRacing. Haven't really raced it before, done a couple of laps around here just to kind of get the feel for it. It seems that it's much more stable than the Porsche Cup that I normally race, but definitely can lose the back end from time to time, or I seem to be able to do that. So yeah, I mean, obviously fixed setup race, so I don't really have to worry too much about the setup stopping me being competitive with everyone else. It's just going to be down to my driving, which is always the challenge. So it's not many laps around here. It's going to be 7 or 8 by the looks of it, and it's going to be a rolling start, which I'm terrible at, so hopefully this goes okay. Typical YouTube thing now to say, if you enjoy the content, like and subscribe. I don't take this channel seriously, I just put these videos up for fun and to share with people I know, but of course it's nice to just put it out there anyway. So if you do like, then you know, please do give it a like and subscribe if you are interested in seeing what else comes along. So let's get into the race. So we've actually qualified P3, which I wasn't expecting, and that certainly gives us a good opportunity to have a good finish, but also to hopefully keep out the carnage that could be behind us, so I have my fingers crossed. So the aim of this race is basically just to end up in a respectable position, positive I rating, positive safety rating. That is all I'm after. I'm not interested in really, you know, going for the win or anything like that. Of course, if the opportunity arrives, I'm still going to take it, but I want to have a nice, safe race and just use it as a way of getting used to the car, really. That's the main thing. So I won't defend super hard, I won't push super hard or anything like that, and it's just a matter of trying to just keep this intact, bring it home with as few incident points as possible, and hopefully some positive iRacing. So at the moment, just obviously getting to the end of the rolling start. To be honest, I don't bother doing any of the weavy stuff that you see a lot of people do. It doesn't seem to really help the tyres that much. Every now and again I'll do the odd brake stab. I don't know if that helps, probably not. And as we get to the end of the start here, I'm basically just trying to stay as close to the number 5 car, Jose Luis Santos, as much as possible. Jacob in the second place there. Unfortunately, the A-pillar of the car is very big on the Aston, so I struggle to see anything on the near side corner there, so I'm not quite sure exactly where Jacob is when the pace car jumps in here. And there he goes, and we're off. So I'm just trying to stay in the draft. I'm looking for Jacob, but I can't see him. And on my relative, I can tell I'm ahead of him, so on the radar there, I tell I'm just ahead, so I move across to kind of cover him a little bit and see if he'll either go around the outside, but he decides to tap his brakes, which puts us nicely in P2 straight off the start. And now we're coming up the S's, and again it's just a matter of trying to stay in the draft. When the Aston's tyres are cold, she does suffer with a lot of understeer, it seems, so I'm not going to be doing anything too crazy. And I notice Jacob's got a nice draft and he's coming up my right hand side for the inside line up the carousel here, so I'll brake a little bit early just at the bump there and take a nice wide line, trying to give him as much space as possible, and roll out onto the rumble strips here. He's still there, but I'm just ahead of him, and I've got the inside into this corner, and we look to be pretty good, so I'll just try and nail a clean exit. And yeah, that's a nice start so far. Again, just trying to keep it easy. This corner, the back end can certainly get away from you. There can be some, as you can see there, I just had to correct a little bit of oversteer on exit with cold tyres, but I managed to keep it okay, and I haven't really lost too much ground to Jacob, so that's good. Jose's getting away from us a little bit here, but I'm not overly worried. Again, another place where under acceleration we can get a bit of oversteer, but the car seems pretty planted there. And this is a corner I'll struggle with the entire race. I'm rubbish at it. But that's okay, that'll do for now. We seem to have a manageable gap behind us, so that's all good. I keep it in 4th here just to keep the car under control. Coming around to the final corner, bit of an early brake. Missed the apex there, but it's okay, we got a half decent exit, and that's lap 1 done. So all seems good so far. Trying to nail in my braking point here.
P2.
And that seems okay. We get a good run out there. We seem to have gained a little bit there on Jose, just a tiny bit. We're 3/10 behind him. Again, the car's still sliding a little bit, so I'm just trying to stop the tyres scrubbing too much so we keep our speed, but without losing control of the car by being too aggressive with any steering inputs. Just have to be delicate with it on these first couple of laps. But I've got a nice bit of draft on Jose, so I'm just staying up with him, but I'm not going for the move here. I'm just going to stay nice and behind him, get a bit of a bump there from the change in elevation, and
on your left.
We get very close there. It seems that he didn't have a very good line through there, and I just have to lift off the throttle, and as you can see, that's given Jacob a really nice run up the inside here.
Still there.
We have a little bit of a nudge, but it's all good. On the exit there we have another little nudge, but we're right alongside each other here. I've got the inside line.
Still there.
And it looks as though he's braked just that tiny bit early, so we've now managed to defend our position there. So yeah, Jose getting a little bit all over the place in that top corner at the carousel there. Nearly lost us a position. So, but it's all good now. We've, unfortunately, whilst we've gained a nice gap to Jacob, half a second behind us after that, we have pretty much double or more of that gap now to Jose, so he's now a little bit more unreachable. So just trying to nail the exits, and I'm not overly worried if I don't catch Jose, but I would rather like to see if I can keep Jacob behind me the whole race. Go a little bit wide here, so just try and see if I can nail this corner, and again go completely wide and miss the apex there. But again, thankfully Jacob is not racing much better behind us, so it's all good. And that's the end of lap 2.
The leader has just done a 153.50. That lap was a 154.36.
So as you can see, we're basically a second almost behind the leader in that lap.
Track limits.
And that's okay. We get a little bit of an off track there, which is a bit annoying. But so far, that's the only incident, so we'll let it slide. Tyres feeling a little bit grippier up the S's there, which I notice, and that's good. Now, whilst I notice I'm out the draft for Jose, I can tell that Jacob has got a nice run, and whilst I'm concentrating on him, I miss my braking point and brake after the bump and just go completely wide, but Jacob does too, which is great. But then I notice, unfortunately, Dorian cakes both of us there and steams ahead of me. So Dorian's actually done some good progress up the field since the start and took advantage of both me and Jacob going way too deep into that corner. So I just try and stay as close to Dorian as I can, hopefully regain my position, but if not, use the draft from him to clear a nice gap to Jacob. That's the idea now.
You've got 10 minutes left.
And I stupidly short shift there, which unfortunately gives me some issues in keeping up with Dorian. I was on the chat there just telling Jacob, oh, we both went deep there, and had a laugh about it. So yeah, now trying to just keep up with Dorian, that's the main thing now. And I can already tell he's faster than me, and I'm still a little bit flustered after the whole thing, so I'm not really driving too great the rest of this lap, but it's just a matter of trying to keep it together now. So I go a little bit conservatively through there, keeping it in fourth, and just try and do a better final turn, which I think is okay. And that's the end of lap 3. So
the gap behind is now 1.0 seconds. The guy in front has just done a 153.22. P3.
So yeah, 153.2 is a very fast time, and it's out of my range, I believe. So immediately I think that there's probably little chance I can keep up with these guys. So I'm just going to try and do my best. So this is how the rest of the race starts to play out, really. I am kicking myself at this stage a little bit for letting that position go, but thankfully I didn't, that late break didn't lose the position to Dorian and Jacob. Luckily Jacob did the same as me, so I've only lost one place. It's not the end of the world, but P2 would have been far nicer than P3. But as it stands, I look to be gaining 67 iRating, and with only one incident, I'm feeling pretty confident about the safety rating increase as well. So as we enter the boot here, this is the stage where I do struggle with this corner a little bit. As you can see, as we go around the toe here, we just lose the back end a little bit, and I have to correct, and a tiny little lift off the throttle as well, and that means that we lose a little bit more time to Dorian as well, but we're keeping Jacob within a second at the moment. And as we come round the heel, a little bit slow round there, but we're up 4/10 on our delta, and then I just get this all wrong. I just go way too wide, and we lose all that time. So we lose 3/10 there, and unfortunately, and yeah, Dorian's now within reach a little bit now. Another terrible corner there.
Half distance, fuel looks good.
And we actually end up just about reaching evens on the delta on that lap, but
the leader's just done a 153.35. You've just done a 154.36. Good lap. That's your quickest so far. You're a second down in sector 3.
So as you can see, yeah, terrible lap really. He says it's the quickest I've done yet, but it's not really ideal. But again, at the start of this lap, we've just gone through the 90 and we're now going through the S's, and managed to gain 3/10 on Jacob for some reason here, so I'm quite happy. He won't be in reach as we go around the loop, which I'm happy about, so I could just concentrate on nailing my braking point here and trying to get a good corner. So I stay on the outside here, just slightly later on the brakes, down into 4th, miss the apex, but we're okay.
The gap behind is now
I short shift to
0.9.
5th just to try and control the exit a bit better, and unfortunately we lost all that time, and now Jacob is right on us, and then we have a terrible corner there, and Jacob is right back behind us again. So got it all to do, and we're immediately facing my worst corner, or one of, but we don't do too badly here. We get a bit of a late apex and get on the throttle, and we manage to keep Jacob at bay. But you can just see the guys ahead getting further and further away, so P3 is the best I can achieve here. So I've got this position to lose, but I doubt I'll gain anything unless somebody makes a ridiculous mistake. Gain a little bit of time there, and as we come through this corner I try and nail it a bit better than I did last time. Probably a bit slow through there, but it was certainly better than the big wide line I took last time. And as we go around turn 10 now, I keep it in 5th this time, and that seems to be a bit better. We use the rumble strips there. Try and get closer to the apex, but not great. My final corners are not awesome, but they're okay. And we're only 700ths up, or down should I say. But as you can see, we're losing massive amounts of time. A good second to Dorian in front, and Dorian's closing up on Jose just that little bit. So they're having a nice bit of a battle, or bit of pressure from each other, but I've managed to get Jacob within back down to a sort of second or so behind us.
5 minutes to go. You're looking good for a podium.
And as Jim clarifies there, you know, we've only got a few minutes to go really, and so it's probably 3 or so laps, 2-3 laps. So just got to try and hold on to it here. So brake there, try and stay a bit tighter around the inside line here. And I short shift to 5th, but it doesn't really help, so I have to lift there, and I've lost more time. I probably lost 2 or 3/10 there. But I try and make up for it by getting a clean corner here. A bit late on the power after the apex, but we managed to regain what we lost against Jacob there, so that's fine. Once more around the toe. Just watching that inside front wheel, make sure it doesn't go on the grass, because that doesn't help. And we're okay, you know, Jacob isn't making any great strides against us, but we're not gapping him either, so... Well, that wasn't a great corner, sort of slid in, a bit of understeer on entry there, so we lost a few tenths, and Jacob's back behind us within half a second again. Turn 9, a bit cleaner. And then as we come to turn 10, again I go for that, keep it in 5th, just lift and then power off on the apex, which seems to be the best way to go about it. And then we can see our first back marker that we're going to have to deal with this lap.
The gap behind is now 0.9.
So here I'm just too late on the brakes, and I don't go anywhere near hard enough, and I just completely understeer through the entry, go really wide and pick up another off track here.
Track limits, watch those lines.
So yeah, I'm already 4/10 down at the start of this lap, and again Jacob's within half a second again, so not the best move. yeah, so it's just a matter of, again, just trying to rebuild. He's now within 2/10. Probably not going to make a move around the loop here, but I do have to be careful because he could follow up very shortly as we enter the boot section of the course. Luckily I get a good corner there through the loop. A nice apex and a nice exit. Try and nail the brake point here, use third just to slow the car, get on fourth gear, late apex and power out. Not the best corner there, but we're holding our ground. And now into the toe. I try and brake more at about 150. Turn in for a late apex and then power out while straightening up. Seems to do some good there. And we've put Jacob back to half a second behind us, and we're slowly making ground on this back marker. I'm hoping to get this back marker on the front straight, or maybe after the S's. That's the idea, but I don't want to compromise my position to Jacob at all as a result, so we've got to be careful. 2 minutes to go, as Jim's just said, and around turn 10, lap 7 here. We're right up behind this back marker, number 15, and Anthony brakes early and hard here, goes quite wide, and we slide out, and I just have to be careful not to hit him there.
Clear left.
Which slows us down a little bit, and now Jacob's got to run down the front straight. But we're on the last lap.
One more to go. Keep it together, we'll be on the podium.
Just about hold it together there through the 90 into the S's. Jacob's only 2/10 behind us. He's sniffing blood. So as we go up the S's here, I just try and nail that apex, and then this one here with minimum amount of tyre noise whatsoever. And now I'm just trying to keep Jacob out the draft here a little bit. I'm not quite sure what line I want to take through this corner, because he's definitely going to make a move here through the loop. So I choose to take the inside, brake a little bit early, just to get nice and tight to this curb. Get on the power. He's still right behind me here, and he makes a move out to my right hand side. I move over just to cover him and get a nice turn in for this corner, which seems to help. That puts him at bay. Still 2/10, so he's still right there into one of my worst corners, so I've really got to try and make this one stick, and I slide out horribly here. I cut in, I lose the back end, and I kind of drift out to the right there. As it turns out, I got very, very close to him, but he actually thought that was his fault. But either way, we're now in a big fight. He's going to take the inside line here, so I go nice and wide. Try and focus on just getting on the power early. And according to the radar, I'm ahead of him here, so I just nip in just to make him brake a little bit early. I try and nail this corner here, and he gets a good exit there, so he ends up getting right alongside me here. But I just move across just in time, just to kind of not block per se, but just try and stop him taking that line if he was going to try and make a lunge. I want to get on the corner before he does, and that pretty much secures us the P3, so a nice little fight there towards the end, and we make it stick. So
podium finish, nice one.
The best race. I'm pretty happy with it because, of course, P2 was mine, but I think Dorian would have caught up anyway. He was making such good progress through the field that I would have ended up losing it anyway. But yeah, good amount of pressure from Jacob behind, and we have a little bit of a conversation here after the race where I basically say, you know, thanks for a good race, and you know, we sort of discuss the battles that we were having, and he talks about a couple of his mistakes. He actually puts that last move where he ends up right behind me after the toe as his fault, because I think he didn't have a great corner there either, but as it turns out, yeah, that was probably a bit dangerous on my part to come drifting across to the left there, but luckily it didn't result in any problems, and yeah, we ended up with a nice result. So guys, thanks very much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed. I know I'm not the best iRacer in the world, but hopefully you found it fun content. Like I say, feel free to like and subscribe. I'm not doing this as a regular thing, but there will be a lot more races coming from this season in iRacing, so there'll be more Aston Martin GT4, both in the GT4 Falcon, but also the IMSA Pilot Challenge. I'm also doing the new IRO4 Formula 4 car, so that should be fun, and of course also the Porsche Cup, which is my main series that I race. So thanks guys for watching, and yeah, see you again soon.